Good morning, book friends. Just kidding, it's afternoon here. I finally finished reading The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, so let's talk. I don't have any complaints except for Corbin's crappy attitude. It took me until the last 40 pages of the book to think maybe Corbin was an okay guy, but mostly I just wanted to claw his eyeballs out. My favorite character was Kizzy. Is anybody surprised? I commented on another book talkers video saying that I was starting this book and somebody just said Kizzy, and I was like, yep, I get it. Her personality was such a good addition to the ship. She was so fun and weird. I mean, just fun and weird, and had this really great personality that I think brought everyone together in a way. And she still had the sensitivity to be kind and respectful and compassionate to her crewmates and to other people, other species that they interacted with. I really liked the way that they developed the relationship between Syzyx and Rosemary. At first, I thought that Rosemary was maybe going to end up pairing, as they say, with Kizzy, but I'm not disappointed that she is getting it with Syzyx because they're so cute together. And I appreciated, Syzyx's alien species being different, and then Rosemary being compassionate about the way that Syzyx's alien species were more sexually open than humans, because humans, I mean, let's face it, humans are prudes about sex stuff, and Americans especially, saying this as somebody from the U.S., we have a great big collective stick up our butts. We gotta work on being a little more, I don't know, not that we should be free and open with everything, but a bit more willing to talk about your needs and stuff, and what you want and what you like. Anyway, I think, Ashby, he was such a sweet captain. He talks in the book about how some captains are kind of just giant D-bags, who rule with an iron fist, and you're going to do this and this because I said so, and I'm the captain, so my rule goes. And, I mean, he'd put his foot down on stuff, like telling Kizzy that she wasn't allowed to, buy a bunch of random stuff that she didn't need because they didn't have room for, they were going on their long trip to this little planet way out in the middle of nowhere to dig a hole to get there, and so just telling his new clerk, Rosemary, keep an eye on Kizzy's spending, so he'd put rules down, and I appreciated him being a firm yet kind captain. I think you can tell why they all really work well together. Each of their personalities meshes, and they bring something to this little ship family. I said that a little close together, where, that they get things from each other the way they say they would get, from their families. And I like that they have such a good relationship with each other, and they can be, I don't know, they can be blunt with each other but still be caring. I loved the environment, their little patchwork ship, the way it was described, being so just unique and eclectic, and having all these fun descriptions of their little indoor garden, and the way they talked about their fridge, which they called a Stassi or Stacy, however you say it, like Stacy or something. I don't know. But, and the way they would describe, like, oh, their bedrooms are small, but Rosemary was just happy to be away from her, sorry, spoiler, murderous father. I think that there was development throughout the book. The things that you learn throughout the book about each person, like Rosemary comes to this ship and she makes it clear that she's running from something, that she's not going back to where she used to be, but they build up to her revealing that her father was the most wanted killer on her planet and just got arrested, and now he's going to be locked up for the rest of his life, and she thinks that people are going to blame her. And, you build up to that. So the way she builds up, like, they talk about the Toremi Ka, where they're going to meet these people. That's the Toremi Ka is the name of their branch of alien kind. And talks about differences between each Toremi clan, and builds up to what they look like. But then even when you meet them, there's that surprise, like, oh damn, that's how they walk, that's how their knees are bent. They kind of gave me the vibe of characters from the 1980s movie Return to Oz featuring Fairuza Balk, and they had those creatures that had wheels on their hands, and that's what this alien species made me think of. But sort of like a cross between that and a grasshopper. Anyway, I like how there's that development too, of building up from, well, we're going to go to this planet where the Toremi Ka live, and then you're building up to, oh, well, they're violent, and then you're building up to, oh, they really are violent, and it leads to, the general council rethinking their relationship with this clan of aliens. The way all of this weaves together in this story builds up to a lot of fun, and I think there's also a lot of humor in this book, and the romance that is here is not, like, overwhelming. Like, if you want something that has some romance, but it's, like, romance light, this is good in that way, I think. They talk about the relationship between Ashton and his girlfriend, Pei. And she is an alien, and they aren't supposed to have a relationship with, like, a species that is not of their own, because the general council thinks that that's wrong. So they keep it hidden, so there's a little bit of love there, and then the love between Sizzix and Kizzy, or Sizzix and Rosemary. Oh my gosh, so it's very gentle, and it's very, like, this world handles these relationships very maturely and very sensitively, and I think that's good for the way this world is built. I also really appreciate that the world they live in is so inclusive, and it shows in the way they interact with other aliens, the way the humans interact with each other, the way that they're willing to put aside what may be different about them. For the most part, Corbin's a little, he's a jackass, but they call him out on stuff, and they hold each other accountable. They are always trying to learn more about other species so that they can continue to do better. And I thought that was really good. I really appreciated that. It showed that they were willing to continue growing as species and as individual people. So I thought that was cool. I also really liked the way that Sizzix talked about her family going from hatch family to feather family to the next family, and the way that was weaved in, how her family culture is so different from other cultures. So if you're looking for a good book series, check out this first book. Very good. 5 out of 5 stars all the way.